This video is intended to be a fun exploration of uncovering what authenticity means for each archetype. In the introduction, I go into the personal tips that I've been working with myself for uncovering what authenticity really means. I throw that word out a lot in my videos, so I thought it might be helpful to do a deeper dive, but this is really just a small portion to start asking questions to self about what an authentic journey means. This is combining Leo archetype with all of the other signs. So you want to look to your fifth house. That's the classic position of Leo. Which sign rules that house? You can check that timestamp. Look at where your sun placement is. That's a connection to Leo. Check that timestamp. Also check which house Leo is in your chart if you know your chart, and then check the sign for that classic position of the house. So I will list those below. But first, let's get into a bit of a general breakdown of tips for finding authenticity within our bodies and systems. The inspiration to sit down and talk about this came from a video that I watched. Actually, I saw a commercial on YouTube. I signed up for the free promotional 1-hour webinar. And within 3 minutes, by the time I think I gave it 8 to 10 minutes, this particular speaker just screamed lying in business to me. He did say that it was a live call and it was very clearly a recording with fake comments. I think it's going to be a big part of all of our lives moving forward in larger and larger capacity, the importance to see and understand when someone's speaking from the heart, when they're using an authentic presence and being themselves rather than having an agenda. This can bleed into all different parts of the astrology chart. But Leo is where I talk about authenticity. And so how do we tell when we are acting from a heart place or someone else's? The first important step that I try to look at is, where am I mimicking? Where am I feeding back something that I've heard before? We're all a little bit like parrots. Our brains are designed to learn that way. That's why animals and babies, they learn by repeating back what they're hearing. This is part of what blocks our authentic nature, is the design to learn and mimic throughout the years. And then over the time, we develop a bunch of characteristics that are designed to be successful, designed to create connection. The important part is to discern between which parts of that, which elements we keep that are going to help us get to where we want to go in life. And at the same time, try to bring in something that's uniquely ours when it comes to the way we talk about things, the way we express our energy. If you find yourself mirroring, copycatting something that someone said, changing our tone to sound like someone else, just check in and see how you can make that more you, how you can make it just slightly different, maybe even slightly better. That's another thing that we are designed by evolution to do, is to take on that mimicking and then make it our own and make it even better. So as children, we by default become our parents, but over the course of our lifetimes, we implement new pieces that are relevant to our generation, to our unique personalities. And that's what brings a healthy combination of learned behavior and choice and our creative design and what appeals uniquely to us and uniquely to our hearts. And that brings me to my second point and step, is monitoring our heart feelings. When we see something we like, does our heart swell and expand? If we see something that challenges us, does it shrink and tighten? And is there something in between? Leo can be known for being boisterous and wanting to be seen, and that can be as a protective mechanism for wanting to feel accepted, not getting enough attention and nurturing in the home, in the early childhood development. And then that comes out as a protective mechanism. And all of these energies can be on a spectrum, at a teeter-totter, where we are trying to find some sort of balance in the middle that is unique to us. And that balance in the middle is usually free of overcompensating and undercompensating. When it comes to attention, are we overcompensating or undercompensating for protection? When it comes to connecting with another person from a heart space or with something we like or dislike, is it a true sense within the heart, a response in the body's energetic, intuitive field? Or is there a moment where we feel threatened, not good enough, and we want to overcompensate or hide and undercompensate for a threat? That's where the nuance is in this one, but it is listening to your heart space, your solar plexus. The solar plexus through your diaphragm and the heart is what makes up the majority of Leo energy. And these two areas in the body can give you a lot of clues as to what really connects with you and what feels off. If something feels off, just question and see if it's about someone else or if it's about you or both. And that will guide to more of a process of your likes and dislikes and how you can make your likes, if they are a copycat or a mimic of someone else, how can you tweak it and make it that much better or that much more you? And if it's a dislike, what is it about the dislike or the tightening of the heart that has information of what the other person is doing that makes us feel uncomfortable, and the part of us that is being woken up in that discomfort that's being activated, and what that part is speaking about. It often, when we're uncomfortable, there can be more of a plutonic effect coming in, like competition, jealousy, lack of trust, secrecy. This is where it gets quite complex. But I just wanted to start this conversation about what really is authentic and some of the steps we can look to do that. Similar to reading the heart, I'll talk more about the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the sun. That's Leo as well. It is that bright, radiant light within us. It is joy. It is what fills our body with vitality and a desire to live and express. That solar energy can feel guarded, overprotected, dampened by not being accepted for things that brought us joy. It has been a long-standing rule that in school you stay quiet, or in church or whatever it is. And that's one of the places where there's appropriate timing to be in our vital, expressive solar energy. And then there's time where we have to just sit and listen to other people and follow a system. As children, it's hard to discern the difference. Our solar light isn't trained enough to stay strong against resistance and being told no, or that's not appropriate. It feels like we are getting rejected. It feels like our solar light is coming at the cost of social rejection. As adults, it's hard sometimes to retrain this and to step back into a bright solar energy of we are now adults, and depending on where you are in life listening to this video, it's a spectrum of, and sometimes always in life, we need to conform in certain times and express in others. As a body awareness piece, when we are in this energy, we feel exhilarated and vital, and we have a lot of energy. Leo is a sign that likes movement. The lion is one of the most resilient archetypes in the zodiac, and that is a question to consider as well. What type of movement makes you feel good? What type of movement makes your body feel more energy and more vital, gets your blood moving? And that's going to be different for everyone based on your astrology chart, based on the time of life that you're in. For some, a little bit of gentle movement every day adds a nice amount of solar energy. For others, it needs to be high amounts of high energy output, and that really gets the body fired up. For others, that could be depleting. So let yourself explore that with listening to your body, not what you mentally think is right for your body in the moment. So if you're feeling like you're exercising a lot and you're tired all the time, then it's a good time to question what type of movement and just play with it. That's Leo is the sign of play. So experiment and listen to how your body feels after certain activities. And that's a good cue as to what you want to do more of, what you might want to do less of. That's the solar plexus. You will feel energized when your solar plexus is in alignment with your actions, and you will feel depleted and tired when it's not. Of course, nuances, there are exceptions to all of this, but I just wanted to simplify that piece. The fourth piece to follow with this discovery of your Leonic solar self, your fifth house, authentic creativity, is that it is a social house. The polarization of Aquarius in the 11th house and Leo in the 5th house really represents that social component. But Leo as an archetype, the lion, is a social pack creature. Leo needs to be seen, which means there's an interactive component. And because it's a heart space energy, it also has to be connected to self via the heart, but it also can represent other. In the same fashion as figuring out what works physically, you can think about this socially as well. Are some of your social choices based on protection, isolation, security, fear? Everyone's going to need different levels of isolation and alone time and time for the nervous system to decompress, and different levels of connection and different types of connection. So after which connections do you feel a little bit more energized? Do you feel a little bit more optimistic about life? You want to live. These people inspire you. These connections inspire you. You feel more open-hearted. You'll know the people that are right for you because you leave feeling a sense of more of an open heart. There's a big difference between truly being seen and being in front of an audience. And that can be more of the unhealthy expression of Leo, is that if we're constantly trying to just get more and more and more attention, and it doesn't matter who it comes from, that could be a protective mechanism that's spinning, that wants to fill something inside that, or mask a pain inside from not being seen and from rejection. In the more balanced approach, what makes you feel like you're genuinely seen by another person? And that will give you a clue of feeling more open-hearted and accepting towards other people as well. I think that could be a good clue for whether we're in healthy social situations or we're trying to mask a pain by our social situations, is that afterwards you might feel either like you're not satisfied, you need more, you're judging other people, your heart feels closed. In those healthy expressions of connection in the Leo solar fifth house way, we're just going to feel a warmth inside of our heart, a gentle expansion, a relaxation, a neutrality, and a sense of feeling fulfilled. That's when we're truly seen and when we've truly had presence with other people in an authentic space. You want to watch for where's the parrot? Where is the mimicking? What is true and what's coming from a place that's been processed at a heart and solar plexus level, and what is just being regurgitated, mimicked for the sake of being funny, being seen, being socially accepted, or just feeling validated in our knowledge? What makes your heart expand and soften? What makes you feel a sense of calm, peace, and nurturing and acceptance? What makes your solar plexus sing? What gives you vitality and you feel bright like the sun? What movement feels good? And what feels like authentic connection in your body? A lot of these responses are going to come from the body. If you have the sun or the fifth house represented by the archetype of Aries, you could feel more free, more liberated to act impulsively. But different conditions in the chart can mask this and make you less willing to take risks for fear of failure. Aries is a fire sign. It likes things fast. It functions based on impulse. It can have short bursts of highs and come crashing down because there's no stamina to keep this movement or momentum going. Exercise-wise, you might like very quick, short bursts of exercise, and that might be best for your heart and your energy levels and your vitality. You might like being around people that are also daredevils and like to do exhilarating things, like to take risks, like to get their adrenaline running. And that could be you as well. Your heart might change its mind quickly. You might have big infatuations and be on one tangent for a short while and then pivot and change your mind and want something else. So you, depending on personal charts, you might not stick with something for a very long time, and that's okay. That's what is most authentic to you. It keeps you in this heightened state of seeking the next thing, testing out the next thing. There can be more risk taking, like I said, and maybe even a feeling of gambling, though it's not necessarily gambling as an addiction. It's more that you're willing to risk a lot for the things that you love, and you're okay with that not turning out. If things don't work out and you have to try the next thing, you have the capacity, very likely, to work through that, recover, and do things again in ways that other signs don't when their sun or fifth house doesn't have an Aries connection. So this would be an energy, depending on your chart, to not necessarily listen to other people's advice. Take what really resonates to you at a heart and solar plexus level. So what feels right in your body. But what's right for someone else is not right for an Aries sun or fifth house person. You really are going to be at your best when you take the risks that your heart and body are calling you to take. And I'm not saying this in any means to not be calculated in the ways that you want, to not do research first. Everyone is going to have a unique chart, and some may need a lot more preparation before they jump into adrenaline-like situations than others. But this is, as a general rule, you might be okay with being impulsive more than other people. And maybe there are other people who need to learn from this. Maybe others need to see Aries, fifth house, and sun people be more impulsive and go after what they want and take risks so that they can too. So that they can help break down their Capricorn sun or Taurus sun, the ones that play it safe a little bit more, the Virgo Sun that might worry a lot more, especially if you have a Virgo fifth house. And Aries is also going to feel it in the head face. You might feel it in your heart and solar plexus as well if you have a connection to the fifth house. But Aries by archetype rules the head and face. And this is where your passion is. So it's not the brain, though, just to separate. The brain is Mercury. The brain is the third house. Aries is, you feel heat and energy in your head and face. And that is going to be an indication of green light, systems a go. If you feel more of a constriction in your head and face, or your face goes into an automatic response, that could be an indication that it's not quite right for you in that moment, at least. Without Aries type energy, people might never take action towards what they really want. We might get too stuck in some of the more secure, predictable energies of life. And we are meant to thrive. We are meant to step into the unknown and initiate change and do it with gusto. We all will experience fire and Mars transits. We all will have this in some part of our chart. So do follow your heart if you have this Aries placement with the sun or fifth house. Follow that fiery feeling inside of you, and don't worry too much about the outward criticism. Think more about what practically makes sense to you, and you don't have to fully let go of that. But this is definitely a strong archetypal blend where just because someone else does it a certain way does not mean an Aries sun or fifth house person needs to do it that way. Let me know how this feels for you, for those people who have this Aries sun or fifth house placement. Do you follow that fire inside of you? Do you feel like sometimes you're tricked by the regular life of conformity to listen to the norm or listen to other people? Where do you find that happy medium? And let me know if this was helpful and what else we can add to future videos like it. Thank you so much for checking this out and being here with me and chatting in the comments and reaching out for Zoom calls. It really means a lot. I will see you next time. Binary archetypal expressions. Taurus Sun and Taurus 5th house, you will feel more secure when you are enjoying the earthly pleasures of life. When you slow down and smell the roses, when you connect with your food, you indulge in the foods that attract you, you take your time to savor life, you work in ways that are slow and steady, predictable, you get to where you want to go. A Taurus is going to feel most like themselves when they feel secure in this earthly realm, financially, energetically, with connections, with the food that they have access to and eat every day. This is a really core element in doing everything else in life from a Taurus place of activation of that solar fire and 5th house creative self-expression. A Taurus may want to spend a lot of their time creating their own food or following other recipes and then tweaking it to make it their own. Same thing with strategic investments, letting your money grow, making your own choices financially and not letting other people guide you in what you should do with your money. If you have Taurus in the 5th house or Sun, you know at the core of your body what a smart money move is. It doesn't mean that it's always going to get gains, but it's probably going to be some sort of slow, steady, trustworthy investment that you are going to feel safe with. You do not want risky behavior. You might even prefer exercise that's slow and steady and not a ton of vigor all at once. You might not even like to get sweaty. You might want strength building. This can be slow, steady repetitions that encourage endurance and stability and strength over time. This is not an energy by classic narrow representation of short bursts or impulsive action. That will make a Taurus not feel well. So if you have this placement, don't let other people tell you what you should do for exercise and the things you should eat for pleasure. You are the expert in this field and you want to listen to your heart and your solar plexus. What makes you feel very vital and vibrant? What makes your heart feel safe with connection with the money that you spend in this life? Who are the people that allow you to soften and trust that you're always going to be provided for? Versus your body might go into a sense of anxiety if you're with people that don't match or don't trust your own intuition with how you should spend your energy, your money, foods you should eat, things you want to do for fun. The path to finding more about who you truly are on the inside and an authentic creative expression could also be very slow and steady. This isn't an overnight switch where you suddenly feel like yourself and you've just shaken off all of the things that you were taught you need to be secure in the world. You want to take those things with you. You're a Taurus. You will always want to feel secure and you will do the things in the world that match that priority. So that will have an authentic piece of yourself. You're not going to be like the other signs where trying to find a core authentic expression means shaking off everything you've learned. You might want to hold on to that more than other people. And being a fixed sign, it means that generally you will. Rapid change, doing things because other people are doing them, moving too quickly, it's just not going to feel right for a Taurus, and you might deplete your energy and feel less vital over time. A Taurus doesn't necessarily mimic, but there can be a lot of repetition in what has been done and proven to be trustworthy, accurate, helpful, and doing that over and over and over again. This is both very authentic to a Taurus, so this is a good thing. This isn't something you need to shed, but it's something to question. If you want to feel a little more aligned with what gives you more vitality, which connections feel really good to you, Think about what you might be repeating for the sense of security in this life, or because security makes you feel good. And what might you do slightly differently if security was not part of the equation? And if you thought to yourself, what truly matters to me in this moment, not just because that's what I've done before and it produced this result. That's where you might find a little bit of change in how you're going about your fifth house or solar placements. Or this video also applies if you have Leo in the second house. What is it that you value as creative self-expression that is tried, tested, and true, but within yourself, and not necessarily just a repetitive system for the sake of repeating something that feels safe? This will be baby steps for anyone that has a Taurus connection to Leo and the Sun. So do go slow, and hopefully this helps bring a few more pieces of awareness to what might help you feel more authentic, more you, more vital, and what might shut you down. I would love to hear from you though. How does this show up in your life? Taurus, what makes you feel more connected to you? What makes you feel creative as a Taurus? And what areas do you just operate out of repetition and maybe not thinking too much of it, which is also fine. It's a part of healthy life. It's part of what is designed to make life easier for us, is that we know the outcome, we know what's been done, and we can do it again with ease. Thanks for the shout outs and the comments. They really make my day, and it's just so fun to hear what's really going on in your minds when you see this video. So thank you for that. If you would like a reading with your chart, check out my booking link in the description below. But thanks for just being here and checking out this video. I'll see you next time. Gemini. If you have Gemini connected to your sun or your fifth house, or you have Leo in the third house, this is an expression where what's authentic to you is a busy, excitable mind. You want to be stimulated on a regular basis by new ideas, new concepts, new people. This is a very social energy. This is not a consistent play it safe energy. And each person's personal chart breakdown will speak to that more or less. But just if we have to simplify it to the Gemini archetype, your solar plexus and your heart plexus expand when you are connected with other people. And you don't necessarily want to go deep. This is superficial chit chat. And it's not superficial in a derogatory way. It's the type of spiky conversation that goes from one topic to the next, that combines different types of ideas. This is an area where you don't want to get bored. You want to constantly switch up your interests, what your mind and heart are focused on. You want different people. You might have long-term friends and friendships and connections, especially depending on how your whole chart shows up. But Gemini archetype would prefer to be on to the next interesting thing so that they don't miss out on anything by staying with what's been old and consistent and tried, tested, and true. Socially, you might feel invigorated and have more of an open heart when you are also around open-minded people. When others are fed on curiosity and like to go to those intellectual places with you, like to talk about anything, and likely the type of people that have very diversified sense of and sources of knowledge. You could also get excited about staying at home and reading a book or scrolling through social media. Compared to other signs, you might actually be recharged and soften your heart in these situations because you're feeding your mind at the same time. As a very intellectual sign, your heart and your head might be more connected than others. It might be through your thoughts that you realize what's good for you and what's not, and not as much of an embodied sensation that comes through, though I would recommend checking both, but do rely on what your mind is showing you in any given moment about someone or something or some activity that you do. With exercise and movement, you don't want to keep it the same. You want to diversify the types of activities you do every single day. You might have 7 different things that you're very interested in, and you can do that one day every week, but you are not going to thrive in going to a routine type exercise, such as long distance running every single day. Sports might be one exception. So team sports would be very Gemini, and you might just have no game is ever the same. No team operates in the same way every time. And you might thrive in that kind of stimulation of having the dynamic energy of a sport or a team sport specifically as part of your movement and things that make your body feel vital and alive. Gemini is humorous and can be the trickster. You might enjoy games. You might love games nights. You might like to just play in general and be playful. You might like to prank people, play tricks on people. It might make you laugh and bring you a sense of joy. Do watch though for any teetering on that element of the intention around doing it. So if you're doing it for a sense of control over other people or power, jokes at the cost of other people, there's a very fine line between that and everyone getting a really good laugh, especially the Gemini who's been conniving and coming up with the very clever tricks and pranks. Geminis make great comedians. If you feel like you've been called to more humor in your life in any way, that would be an area to explore more and figure out what lights up your heart and your mind at the same time when it comes to games and jokes and comedy and all of that. Gemini in the 5th house, or any of these configurations really, I see this having a great connection with children, that playing games with children, teaching children small things. This could be a really fun way for Gemini to stay connected to their youth and their joy. So for Gemini, connection to Leo and solar energy and 5th house stuff, this would also be Leo in the 3rd house. Where do you feel a sense of excitement in your head and heart? Where do you feel stimulated in both and in a way that doesn't deplete you, but makes you even more curious, expands your mind to be even more humorous and playful and trickster-like? This is playing with knowledge and playing with words and maybe even playing around in different social situations that stimulate different parts of who you are. Because as a Gemini, you're not just one type. You have a little bit in each corner of your world, whatever that looks like. And you can flip-flop from one energy to the other very easily. But do look for what brings you more energy, what makes your heart soften, and what excites your mind and makes you feel more curious and makes you laugh. Those will be clues to what really is authentic for you. But I would love to hear more, Gemini. What is it that lights you up? What resonates with this video? What doesn't? It really is so much fun to connect on all the shout outs in the comments. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for checking out this video. Hanging out for Zoom calls. If you would like to book a one-on-one reading, I will link my booking site in the description below. So much fun to meet people via Zoom. Hope you are having lots of fun in the most authentic way to you, Gemini. I will see you next time. If you have Cancer in the 5th house, Sun in Cancer, or you have the 4th house with Leo, you are going to feel more authentic when you have a strong inner sense of emotional security. When you're not worried about whether what you say or you do is going to affect your close community, the people that are around you that help you feel safe, or just your sense of security in the world, knowing that you have a safe place to retreat to is really important. And that is an inner place. If you're playing it safe with your communication or the things that you do, you could come across in an energy that feels disconnected for people or for yourself. And that could be playing a role in feeling like you're leaning into an authentic way of being or not. At the same time, a safe place to retreat back to is extra important for you. You feel most yourself when you can come back into your inside world or your safe home that is a retreat. You feel most aligned with your authentic nature when you have safety and flexibility to be yourself at home, to retreat back to a safe place. So just having this space inside of you or your actual home is going to help you step out in the world in a way that allows you to feel more Leonian at times and ability to let yourself be seen, because Cancer is a bit of a contradictory energy to this. It is the sign that comes right before Leo. So that in and of itself means that there's a tighter angle between signs and they don't see each other. They don't see eye to eye. That's because Cancer does not want to be seen, but wants to be felt in safe places with close family that's really important to them. Even if that's friends, it's a close-knit group that's safe. Leo, on the other hand, wants to be seen to be real. It wants to be seen to be connected. And Cancer needs to know that there's more consistency and nurturing within those connections rather than just being seen for who they really are. By narrow definition of the archetype, Cancers might never even let themselves be fully seen and fully known. There's an inner world to that crab being half inside the shell that is hidden from the rest of the world. The water signs can be like that. There's a lot going on beneath the surface of the watery world in our environment and on Earth, and that is a big part of this archetype for you too. When you think about most authentically being you, there will be an element of emotion. Cancer is a water sign and it represents our emotions. It is also a feminine sign and it represents just attracting what you need rather than forcefully going after it. That is another piece to consider when you're thinking about your authentic nature. Most Cancers, or at least with this specific placement, you're going to feel more authentic when you are in your yin energy and you're just letting the world come to you with a sense of safety and security that the right things are going to come your way. This can be a more passive energy to be in, a magnetic energy to be in, knowing that the world is going to support you. You can act as you need to from that place. So there is a gentleness with the Cancer-Leo blending of the archetype where you probably do like to be seen. You do want to have those strong, heartfelt connections. This will be even more amplified that it's heartfelt for those with this placement. Where does your heart feel safe? Where does your heart feel seen? And can you operate from a place where knowing that that just is happening rather than overly analyzing the energy of the people around you and what's happening or what may not be happening, but operating from a place of certainty that you have the security you need no matter what goes on around you. No matter who sees you for who you really are, no matter who's paying attention, no matter who's by your side, that you have a safe place to retreat to. The way that you speak could change when you feel that way, when you're not coming from a place of feeling like you're depleted from being around other people or feeling like you need something that you're not getting. The activities that you choose to do could change. You might just feel more comfortable at home. And that is also an authentic way of being. But it is an opportunity to question where those motivations are coming from and what you would do if you felt the same way you do at home out in the world. Would your activities change? Would the way that you speak change? Would anything change? Cancer, you might also feel a strong sense of leadership and bravery with home and family related matters. You are the family person. You are oriented towards creating family in whatever way in the world you do. That can be a sense of bravery and leadership and courage to create family within your friend groups, within other social situations, or even at home within your actual family that you came from, the family that you create. A lot of Cancerian Sun people especially are parents. That's part of the incarnation. There's a natural authority that you lean into when you step into that role. That's part of the soul development, part of what's being called into with this archetype accentuated. So an authentic way of being in the world could have to do with taking a lead role in the family. When you're in your most authentic nature, you are self-nurturing and nurturing for others. That is such an important piece. So whenever you're walking through life, if you are in that nurturing mode of compassion and comfort for yourself and others, you know you're stepping into authenticity. I would love to hear from you, Cancer. I would love to hear how you feel about this, what makes you feel most authentic, what makes you feel safe and nurtured and at home, especially out in the world. It really makes these videos come alive to read all the comments below. So thank you so much for that, for the shout outs, for meeting me, for the one-on-one Zoom readings. It's wonderful to meet you via video for birth chart readings. My booking link will be in the description below. I hope you are having a year of authenticity, Cancer, or Leo 4th house, or however this is showing up for you. I'll see you next time. Leo in the 5th house, or Sun in Leo. This is a double Leo signature, and this is all about yang energy, outward movement. You are most authentic when you're taking action out in the world. This is strength, bravery, courage. That's who you are as your authentic creative self. So if you are feeling a lack of any of those things in any way, then there's something in your creative self-expression that can be worked on that maybe isn't exactly aligned with what makes you feel at your best. You want to ask yourself questions like, when do you feel most brave and courageous? What does make you light up? Definitely at a heart level. If it's movement, this is an archetype where you're going to be drawn to more quick cardiovascular strength energy. If you have the Sun in the 5th house or in Leo, then you're really going to be working towards this your whole life with what feels like you shine, what feels like it makes you light up. And it can change depending on each person's chart. It's not one thing for your entire life, but you really want to pay attention to how you feel in your heart space with the activities you do with your children, because it could be the 5th house here. Where do you feel like the leader of the pack? Whether people are actually following your leadership or not, it's more about how you feel in those moments. And what would you do if you had an inner sense of feeling like you are in charge and you can do anything you put your heart to? That is what bravery and courage allows for. It's a strength and a resiliency to really step into things that other people might not. This definitely could be a signature for being on stage or being visible to many, many people. Even if it's a small group, the small groups of people around you, it is going to light you up when you're around people. This is going to be a very social signature. Other factors of the chart can always play a role, but by the narrow definition, this is one where you want to shine out in the world. With this position, you really want to lean in to what feels playful for you, not for the sake of being witnessed or seen by anyone else, not for the sake of defining a certain ego or self-based definition, but really just because it's fun, it's playful, it's the house of hobbies. So you're doing it just for the sake of enjoyment, not for the sake of gains or anything else. The trap can be feeling like you need to be witnessed to have fun, or feeling like other people need to really see your heart and who you are and validate that to experience fun and connectedness. This is a very strong position and signature for really being self-reliant and clear on who you are without needing validation from anyone else. And that's the bravery and courage piece. It doesn't matter what the feedback is from other people. And what ends up happening is that even if people don't fully see who you are, they're matching the frequency and the sense of vitality that you're sharing in the world by being aligned with what matters to you. And then you're a role model for other people, seeing that they can do that too. And you really want to pay attention to what affects your confidence and recognize and remember that nothing external needs to affect your confidence. If someone was overpraised or under-recognized as a child, there can be an imbalance in energy that someone with this signature brings forth to others. But when there is a balance and harmony, there is no limit to how bright someone can shine, how excited they are, how much attention they can get. But there's a nuance of balanced energy that is not affected by how much or how little attention comes through. That's when you know you're being really authentic. When this energy is in its most harmonic space, people will naturally gravitate towards that light of authenticity because it's not demanding anything from the outside world. That's going to be the key with this signature. It is a wonderful position, especially if you have planets here with Leo in the 5th house or your sun is in Leo. There is room for a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of ability to just go after what you want. And when I say not caring about what other people think, it's not about doing anything that's going to harm others. It's more of a sense of light and establishment in who you are, what you want to express, what you don't want to express, and feeling strong and confident in that. And brave to do what other people don't do, brave to say what other people don't say sometimes. And that's a really helpful attribute in the world, especially if it comes from a place where you're not trying to validate yourself with the things that you say. You're just saying, expressing, and doing because it's a heartfelt matter to you. But I would love to hear from this specific perspectives, Leo 5th house, Leo sun, moon, rising even. How do you feel about being a Leo? What do you feel the bonus is? What are the things that you're working on? What makes you feel most lit up as a Leo? It's really fun hearing the details in the comments. So thank you for helping this video come alive through that. And it's amazing meeting you for one-on-one Zoom calls. My booking link is in the description if you would like to see me there. Have a wonderful year stepping into more authenticity, and I will see you next time. For Virgo Sun, Virgo in the 5th house, or Leo in the 6th house, this is going to be about letting go of control and perfection. And the big task is going to be about breaking down anxiety around being self, being seen. There may be a childhood expression where you were taught that being loud and being yourself, being on stage, being boisterous was wrong. It was shamed. It was rejected. So there can, as a result, then be a lot of anxiety around standing out or around those qualities just needing to be under the perfect light. There is a level of imperfection when we're talking about the 5th house and Leo and how art and authentic energy manifests. We're not perfect, but we can honor that part of ourselves and have courage and bravery to move through anyway, to move through faults, to move through disorganization, to move through being wrong. And this specific combination with Virgo energy, whether it's your 6th house, 5th house, or sun placement, you could either be stepping into energy of service, being of service to other people could make you feel most like yourself. Or there's a need to step away from that in order to see what else there is when it comes to you. What's your creative self-expression when you're not of use to other people or when you're not working? The other element is that you want this creative, authentic nature, your unique light, feeling confident and bright. You want that with everything you do every day. Virgo is about routines, daily habits. It's the everyday mundane thing. So you're not specifically showing up in authenticity and bright soul energy when you're working on art or you're in the presence of certain people. It's all day, every day, in everything you do. You want it to really align with something that matters at a heart level. You might feel brave and courageous around the service that you do in the world. You might be someone that steps out and takes care of actually really big things in the world of support and volunteer work with other people. But it doesn't have to be big. It could just be that you show up every day in life, and every day you feel a little bit more like yourself and a little bit more courage to do whatever it is in work or in a day-to-day way that feels good to you. And definitely an area where you want to continually work towards dropping perfection, dropping the ability to make sense of everything. It's less about the structure forward because of this Virgo energy. You naturally have the ability to put things into organized, logical sense. You have an attention to detail that's masterful. You can work and get things done. You have the energy to be of service to others. That is going to be part of your authentic nature. But don't let it be everything. There's more underneath that. There's room for play, and that's where the contradictory comes in with Virgo and Leo archetypes. And this is another sign where Virgo comes after Leo. They are signs next to each other, so they don't see each other very well. And that's because Leo is more carefree and Virgo has a lot of responsibility on their plate. So how can you blend the two where you show up dutifully to the work that you want to do and the responsibilities that you have? It's part of your essence. You want these things. Service is part of what's going to make you shine. Generosity, that's a big one with Leo and Virgo combination. But can you also just feel your soul shine when you brush your teeth, when you scrub your floors, whatever it is that is maybe not seen as magnificent, but actually is. So for this combination, Virgo, it's in the details, it's in the tiny moments of life that you feel most authentically you. It could be when you're giving yourself and your energy productively to other people, but it could also just be to just be in your everyday life. This is wonderful energy to have a strong work ethic. Exercise would be good to have strong output, cardiovascular work, but micro details. So very finesse, something like the art of swimming, where you're constantly improving on the micro movements and how much more efficient and beautiful each stroke can get. Virgo, you let me know. Do you feel more authentic and free to be yourself when you're working and of service to others? Are there other parts of your life where you feel like your soul and vitality shines bright? Or is it just constant all the time in everything you do, in all your mundane tasks of the day, a deep appreciation to just be and have something to do? This could be a combination where you could feel depressed or dull when you're not busy in doing something. So there is some nuance to work with there where you want to be able to rest and lean into that Pisces opposition axis for you. But also I do see a very strong connection to vitality and work and service and doing the right thing, but not being too hard on yourself about any of those things. There's a liberation that's needed to really feel authentic and really let go of what other people's opinions are of you in this archetype, in this combination of archetypes. If you're doing service because you get positive feedback, that's something to work on and adjust so that it doesn't really matter what feedback you get. It doesn't matter what you accomplish. It doesn't matter how good your accomplishments are. You just enjoy the process and feel an increase of vitality in the doing. But I would love to hear from you, Virgo. It's so much fun to engage in the comments and hear how people really feel about some of these positions and transits and archetypes. So what makes sense to you? Is there something else that I haven't mentioned that would be great to share with everyone? Thank you for all of the shout outs. Thank you for reaching out for Zoom calls. It's so much fun meeting you on video. If you would like to book a one-on-one with me, my link for booking is in the description below. Have a wonderful year of more authenticity, Virgo. I'll see you next time. This one is for anyone with the Sun in Libra, Libra in the 5th house, or Leo in the 7th house. The question you want to ask yourself is WWLD or WWID. What would I do? What would Libra do? The tendency for Libra is to have a natural ability to see and understand what other people need. They can have a natural ease and attunement to listening, processing what the other person is saying, or needing to work on that skill in this lifetime. But when we're talking about something that's authentic for Libra, it is going to be more about detaching from the other, because naturally you can connect with others, you can see what other people need of you, but that's not necessarily authentic to you. Libra is a sign that's ruled by Venus, and there is grace and balance and harmony. You could have fun or enjoy being seen for your artistic skills of balancing and beautifying things. You could be in dance or music. You could like to move in ways that are elegant and fine-tuned. This would be an archetype for wonderful ability with feng shui, really designing a room. That could be 4th house too, but if you're talking about self and your self-strength, it's about harmonizing between self and other, what you really find joyful and beautiful and playful, and not just what other people enjoy. Authenticity comes from unraveling and untangling yourself from what other people think is fun and fair and joyful and enjoyable, and really questioning what it means to speak up for yourself or speak up for your own needs, or just do something that feels really good for you without considering what another person needs. And as always, this is never to be unfair to other people, but it's that perfect balance when we're talking about Libra. You want to both harmonize with others, so you could enjoy doing things with other people. You might even need to do things with other people, but the key is going to be finding what you really want to do in that merging with another. This is a very romantic energy, especially if you have Libra in the 5th house. So all of the potential combinations, though, where you like romance. You enjoy doing romantic things in the world, and that's something that you want to embrace in whatever way feels unique to you. Libra also has a natural talent for speaking, for sharing and expressing. And you want to lean into that. It is going to be well received, even if it's focused more on what matters to you. You also naturally see what's fair and just, so it could be fun for you to be a referee for a sport or on some kind of debate team. You naturally can see what's fair in any given situation. So don't worry about stepping out of that too much when you lean into what's really fun for you and what you really want to do. There will be a natural gentle ease that comes from the Libra archetype, where the words that you speak, especially if you have any Mercury connections here, and Mercury often travels close to the Sun, that will allow others to really hear what you need and go along with that. And there can be a genuine, true discomfort to work through, a nervousness as you begin to lean more into what really matters to you, what's really fun for you, and dissociate or disconnect from what others need, because it's such an innate ability to connect and be there for other people, especially people that need you to fight for their justice and stand up for them, or that need a diplomatic devil's advocate in the conversation. Another thing that you easily bring to the table. But this is about authenticity and fun. So as authentic as all of these qualities are, if any of them are holding you back from your true fun and listening to what you truly need on the inside, this is that connection with Leo where you are tuning into you just as much, if not more, than tuning into other people, and just trust that the fairness and the balance will be there because you are Libra. I would love to hear how you feel about this combination, Libra. How do you feel most authentically you? Do you struggle with feeling like your needs are listened to in the crowd, or that you even recognize sometimes what you need when you're in the presence of a group or another person who needs your diplomatic, justice fighting strengths. It's even through really listening to others that Libras sometimes get their needs met. So it's very much, well, I'm here for you, and you model how other people can be there for you. So that's not anything to get rid of. It is a wonderful talent to put to use, but just keep in mind when it does get slightly tipped and you're not really having fun anymore. It's so much fun hearing from you in the comments, all of the shout outs, to really understand fully for all of us what this can feel like. So thank you for that. Thank you for meeting me with one-on-one Zoom calls. If you would like to book a reading, my booking link will be in the description. Have a wonderful year of more authenticity, and I will see you next time. Scorpio, do you feel free to explore your taboo side, your unseen side, the darker sides of life, sometimes dark humor, dark comedy? This is something that you tune into naturally, but there might be resistance in fully expressing yourself because of rigidity or not wanting to go there with other people. You blend so easily and can see through the veils, as they say. You can just see past the surface and see other people's psychology and understand that in quite a bit of depth, as well as your own. And it's not always an easy place to be. So if there's resistance to going into some of this stuff, especially as it relates to merging with other people, this is an opportunity to open that up. So again, this will be for Scorpio 5th house, Leo in the 8th house, or Sun in Scorpio. What makes you very authentic is being able to go deep with another person and not be afraid of that, not be afraid of what that means, not be afraid of things sometimes getting maybe ugly and uncomfortable, for lack of better words, because that's where the richness of your authenticity is going to be. And that's the risk of going deep with other people and with yourself, is that we bleed what we bleed. It's in us. It is to be treasured as a beautiful part of humanity and the art of the expression of the fullness of who we are. We are not just Taurians on your opposing side, where everything is roses and nectar and trees and valleys and the beauty of the aesthetics of the physical external world. There is a very important combination to that, where we cannot have flowers and gardens and food without decay and the breakdown of nutrients after vegetation rots and goes back into the soil and then creates the growth and the birth and the beauty that we find in Taurus. So this is a bit of a unique signature, where authenticity means leaning into the decay, leaning into the transformation, leaning into the purging and the letting go process, the dying off process. And it may mean that what you find creative is any kind of art form in this, or an ability to constantly transform what you like, what you do, what you find fun. I would encourage, though, an opening up of anything that you're hiding from yourself or from others. This can be letting go of any kind of resistance to what people don't typically want to bring into social situations or fun situations. There's a receptivity in Scorpio because it's a feminine water sign. So the receptivity is to all that is the dark and gritty, the nitty gritty. There's a healthy pride in showing your full self to the world, and that it's through that you find more acceptance in what other people bring to the table too. I do think that Scorpios have just innately an acceptance for all that is, how other people show up. But there's that reserved part of the Scorpio themselves where they don't necessarily want to go there with other people or show all of their cards. Authenticity is going to be about showing it all, going for it in the situations that are right for you, whether that's through a creative project or in your social situations, or the way that you exude your energy. Is it open? Is it closed off? A healthy Leonic fifth house expression, our solar expression, is open. It's open for all to see in the right circumstances. And only each person can evaluate that for themselves. But it's something to consider when we're thinking about what it means to really dive into an authentic part of ourselves. And again, this video is just a very oversimplified, fun way to get the conversation started, to open up some thoughts and curiosity around what this means for you, which could be radically different. But I would embrace the dark side, dark humor, changing, transformation, letting go of what was fun, what used to be you. You might go through cycles of personality development, which means that the things you find fun are different every year, every 5 years, every month. So leave room for that amount of change. It could mean that the people that you connect with go through those cycles alongside you, or you are changing the connections that you have on a regular basis because it's matching the constant transformation that you're going through in who you feel you really are and who you want to express to the world, how you want to express yourself to the world. Scorpio, I would absolutely love to hear what you think about this, how authenticity shows up in your life. How comfortable do you feel being open with other people in their dark sides, in your dark sides, in what's taboo from culture and society? It's a gift for the Scorpio archetype. It's something that the world really needs, and it's something that we are slowly opening up and allowing space for as we have more of an open, online, communicative, expressive world. But it's new. Historically, it has been more about keeping things undercover, and that's why Scorpio is seen as under the watery depths of the ocean and what we don't see. So thanks for the shout outs in the comments and expressing what you feel and how this lands there. It really is so much fun to chat through the comments and meet on Zoom calls. So if you feel called to a one-on-one reading, my booking link is in the description below. Have a wonderful year of more authenticity, more fun, more scorpionic edge. We all need that in the world because it's honest, it's real, it is really important half of life that we don't explore enough. So thank you, Scorpio. Have a wonderful year of authenticity. I will see you next time. Hi, Sag. This combination of Leo and Sagittarius energy is a fireball. It can be exaggerated. There can be a need to overdo things or fun in overdoing things. I'm one of those people, so it's different combinations, but it's still a big part of how I have fun. It's in extremes. That's not for everyone, but if you have Sagittarius in the 5th house, Sun in Sag, or Leo in the 9th house, then you are going to be drawn towards bigger, better, searching for what's next. There's an element of always wanting more truth, more discovery. You don't want things to stay the same, but there can be a risk in jumping over things too quickly, moving past the mark or exaggerating in the moment. If we have a lot of Sagittarius energy when it comes to pleasure and self-expression, it can be over the top. So there can be a risk of imbalance here where there's too much play, not enough work, too much seeking, not enough solid grounding energy in what really matters to you and who you are at the core of your being when you're not looking for purpose, when you're not masking under knowledge, which can sometimes be the risk here. Yet there's also, more than any other archetype, a natural attunement to who you are, what you need, what your purpose is, what matters to you, and you can shine very brightly in this with any Jupiter connections as well. So explore, don't run. Search, don't escape. There's also space for everyone's perspective. And that can be really fun for a Sag. So since we're talking about fun and authenticity, it's integrating all the experiences around you, all of the knowledge. There's an open-mindedness in the polarity of Gemini that you can tap into that aligns with your purpose. There's an energy here where your purpose can be so strong that you don't have others on the journey with you. Or risk-taking. This could be an energy where you like high adrenaline sports and activities, and that's great. You want to lean into what is real and what is authentic in your nature. But you want to question if you're doing it for reasons of overcompensating in faith in who you are and a boisterousness of you need to take up space for the sake of taking up space, or attention if it's coming from the core of not being seen versus what truly brings you pleasure. And I do think for most people with this combination, there is just genuinely pleasure in thrills, in doing the next biggest thing, in jumping off cliffs, being really good at your art because you continue to expand. You're not comfortable staying the same. There can be an energy of overexcitement where you can skip ahead of important details in what really matters to you in your journey of fun and authenticity. And this is that from leaning into that bigger, better, what's next energy of Sagittarius. And also filling in the gaps of knowledge. So there's such an excitement with the combination of this archetype that you can jump to the next thing without filling in the appropriate knowledge in between. So that's also where you can lean on the Gemini polarity. This would be an energy where slowing down and getting really clear on your intentions behind what you're striving for, what your purpose is, what really gets you excited and why. If you don't have the why, I think that could be an area where the Sag-Leo combo can get ahead of themselves and get lost in this fiery energy of expansion of self. If we're expanding our authenticity too quickly, we might be missing some pieces, and then that's not fully authentic. You still want to embrace the trial and error. There's room for mistakes. It doesn't have to be all right or all having a clear purpose. There's room to play for just the sake of play with this archetype. Sag and Leo are probably two of the most fun energies in the zodiac. Genuine fun. There's a lot of joy here. There's a lot of optimism, but it's the optimism that can get caught up in what's not real and what's not grounded in who you really are. This is an energy where there is a healthy amount of pride in what you know, and you want to explore what that means without being over the top or needing to prove anything to anyone. There can be a gentle knowing that's part of this archetype, and just knowing for yourself, not doing it for other people and not needing to prove anything to anyone else because you have the knowledge, you know what you're experiencing, you know what you're feeling, you know what feels good for you, and keeping other people's perspectives out of the equation, like the Leo Aquarius polarization of the archetype, could be an important step in finding more authenticity. But Sag, you're going to be the expert on this, so I would love to hear how this is showing up in your life. Do you feel this sometimes? Do you feel like you exaggerate yourself to yourself? And then it's about breaking down the pieces of, whoa, what really is that all about? What truly does bring me fun? So it's taking a moment to think about that. I would love to hear your process in the comments. It's so much fun chatting with you there and hearing perspectives, what lands for you with this video, what doesn't. And if you would like more with me, I do one-on-one Zoom readings. My booking link will be in the description below. It's so fun meeting you over video there. But have a wonderful year of more authenticity, more Sag, more expression and optimism. It's definitely a great signature to have. I'll see you next time. Capricorn, what is it that breaks the mold of what you should do? What's productive? In some ways, when you have this combination of Leo and Capricorn, so if you have Capricorn in the 5th house, Capricorn Sun, or Leo in the 10th house, there's an element here where you want to be seen for your work. What brings you fun and joy and authenticity is aligned with the place that you're going, the steps that you're taking in a certain direction. So there will be both a balancing of liberating yourself from productivity and militant types of movement, fun, play. This is play within structure. This could be team sports. This could be swimming, running, things where you have a plan, a purpose, you're working towards an end goal. Yet, where's the fun, liberation, and authenticity in that? So you want to find both. You want to find fun and play and being seen in the world for who you are, your achievements. You're always working towards the best next thing. You're working within a safe structure often. You're working with what has been done and you're continuing to improve on that. That's what team sports are about, and sports that involve training and endurance. This could be long distance running and swimming as an example, just because Saturn, Capricorn is typically the sign of slowing things down. It's timely. It's beating times, beating personal bests. And this is fun. This is authentic. This is what you are really, really good at, is pushing the envelope and working towards the ultimate goal for you. You want to both lean into this very natural attribute, but you always want to ask yourself if you're having fun. You need work that's fun. You need work that expresses who you truly are, potentially even creative work, so that you can combine both. You can have fun, you can be playful, and you can be working towards something, building your empire, building something that really matters to you. There's an element of productivity that comes naturally, so you can constantly be improving on who you are, and that's authentic. This is an energy when Capricorn is involved that over time you could end up feeling more comfortable in your own skin and more comfortable showing yourself to the world. In the beginning, it might feel more rigid, that you have to operate. Maybe this is a masking signature where you have to operate a certain way to fit into society. But over the years, that slowly breaks down and you start to understand what really is underneath what you should do and what you're told to do and what is socially acceptable by other people. This is an energy where parenting could be quite rigid, and you grew up into an adult or whatever age you are, where you're realizing that you are an expression of what you were taught to be. And that's where it can take time to break down the old structure and the layers of the way that you have had fun and the way that you thought play should go, the way that you thought your authentic expression was. This is the thing I think about a lot with authenticity, is that wherever we are in the moment is actually the most authentic. It's true. It's aligned. It is who we are. So even with a Capricorn Leo connection like this, whether it's your 5th house, your 10th house, or your sun, you are who you are, and that is authentic. But leave room for change. Leave room for slowly breaking down old things that you thought were authentic, and then there might actually be room for something new. Play within limits. You're going to have a healthy balance here of work and play. You're going to know where your limits are of play, or you might have a life incarnation where you're figuring that out. You're figuring out what the limits of authenticity are within what feels good in your life. This is the other thing with the combination of these two, is that there are appropriate ways to act in business. There are appropriate ways to act in certain situations, and a Capricorn is dialed into this quite naturally. And that's a good thing, but we're also in a place in the world where that's starting to shift, and we're looking for something that's not just a copycat, old structure, rigid way of operating even in business. We're looking for more heart. We're looking for more humanitarianism. We're looking for even to show our faults a little bit more, because that's real. And anything that's real is what we are wanting to move more and more into these days. Because we have an evolutionary acceptance of all that is, more than we ever did before, especially after Saturn and Neptune being in Pisces. That is all that is. And we can't just structure a world that's black and white and ignore all of the gray. So we're stepping into that. And I think this archetypal combination is a really important piece. And Capricorn is also, like Leo, the two zodiacs that represent leadership the most. So you're leading by example. You're leading by example of what's appropriate in the moment, and also that authentic edge that can be shown within a safe structure that represents whatever business you're working on, whatever organization or team you might be representing. You have both. You have a safe structure and an authentic flame to uncover and figure out that perfect middle ground with both. But you're going to know this best, Capricorn, so I would love to hear how you feel about this in the comments. It's so much fun having these videos come to life there, so thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for letting me know how this lands and your personal experiences. What does it mean to have this archetype in your life? If you would like to know more about your personal birth chart, check out my booking link in the description below. It's also so much fun to meet you over Zoom. But have a wonderful year of authenticity, Capricorn. Have a little fun. You know how to find that structure and boundary that you need to operate within. So have as much fun within that boundary as possible. I'll see you next time. Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius in the 5th house, Leo in the 11th house, or the Sun in Aquarius, you are the polarization of the Leo archetype. You may truly not feel seen. You might feel like your perspectives are uniquely your own. They are different than the crowd, yet you can objectively see the full picture and the crowd and what we need as far as humanitarian progress. What works for all humans. That's a gift that Aquarians have. Yet, in a world where the opposing energy is Leonic, a lot of people are thinking more from a self-led place, and that can be frustrating for an Aquarius person or somebody with this blend of Leo-Aquarius archetypes, the dichotomy. This could be Libra rising people for some of you, and that is, again, that similar quality of seeing what other people need so clearly, but your perspective on others taking away from that connection to self. With Aquarius Leo blending, it's not exactly taking away from self. Aquarius most of the time knows and sees that they have unique artistic visions, can be divinely inspired. This can be a very intuitive sign as far as mental intuition. So in the zodiac, there are the water signs that are emotionally intuitive, and Aquarius is seen as the divine intelligence. So you see how things work. You see how systems operate. The key to having fun is seeing everyone as equals, including yourself. That's the key to authenticity, is that there's room for you to be different and part of the group. And the more that you lean into that feeling, the more either it doesn't matter whether people see exactly the same way you do, but there's an acceptance of everyone having different visions, opinions, perspectives, and all being an equal playing ground. That's what gives permission to be more self. It's when we start to see differences in other people as a hierarchy or separate that we take away permission from ourselves to be in that expressive nature, usually to fear of being excluded by the group. And that can be something that Aquarian combination or archetype people feel. There's both a choice to separate from the group, but it's almost as if to reduce harm of rejection. If it's your choice to separate, if it's your choice to isolate and be different and be alone in your visions, then you can't get hurt by other people making that choice for you. So there's making peace with this, which is a very challenging piece for people on this path, and leaning into activities that are uniquely your own. You don't have to go along with what the crowd wants to do for activities because of acceptance or because of letting go of parts of yourself to blend with the social connection and community. Leo is an expressive archetype, so when you blend Leo and Aquarius, there's more confidence and courage to come out and share these unique gifts and qualities. But that's where the fine-tuning is to not allow it to be a fight or boisterous because of a feeling of needing to fight for space. It is a gentle acceptance that it doesn't matter if people reject it. It doesn't matter if people don't get it. It doesn't matter if you feel fully included or you get the feedback from the community that you're included. You know you deserve a place. You know that the right people will follow and be magnetically connected to what you need. And there's a gentle confidence and bravery in settling into that and not being as concerned about the nuances that people might feed back as far as expressions of receptivity or rejection. Also, this is an archetype to be proud of what you do and what's different, but it's that healthy level of pride. It's, again, just to reiterate, it's not pride that needs to fight for being right or being unique. It's noticing that everyone's unique, everyone's different, and somehow we can all connect in this social path and accept this dichotomy of standing alone in our unique expressions and needing to be seen. This is a very contradictory energy. So if you find yourself on the spectrum of wanting to isolate or retreat versus really wanting to be seen and understood, this is going to be a personal journey for each person to find that perfect middle ground, and it will be different for each person. So it's not a cookie cutter recipe. This video is just to start thinking about certain pieces of it and to help each person, to help all of us go on this journey of mental exploration and questioning what our intentions are when we show up in our creative self-expression. And if our intentions are to be seen, what is the reason? If our intentions are to hide, what is the reason between that? And figure out that personal journey. I would love to hear from Aquarians. What is your personal journey of authenticity feeling like right now? Does this resonate in any way? Are there parts that feel not connected to your path? It's really fun to hear the comments and have this video come to life. So thank you so much for the shout outs there. If you would like a one-on-one Zoom reading with me, check out my booking link in the description below. It's even more fun to meet everyone on video. So thank you for that. Have a wonderful year of authenticity, Aquarius. You are coming up to your eclipse couple of years, and this is going to be big changes, including your Pluto journey. So lots going on in the Aquarius world. We need more Aquarius energy, so I'm excited for that. I'll see you next time. Pisces. If you have a Pisces Sun, a Pisces 5th house, or Leo in the 12th house, this is all about finding your authenticity through meditation, through film, photography, creating worlds that don't quite exist yet in the physical. These are fantasy worlds. That's what meditation does, is it is an energetic expression that transforms our physical expression. That's the gift here in the Pisces-Leo combination, is that you have such a strong connection with the energy behind the Leonic self-expression. So you might be the one archetype that is already in tune with the nuances of how to deliver this in a gentle, balanced way, or how to deliver this in a way that the people around you are going to resonate with. That's the gold with Pisces strengths, is that there's a tuning in at an energetic field resonance way where you can sense the receptivity of another person and what message can be delivered and what might miss the mark. The trick, though, is to stay with what matters to you and not be overly absorbed into other people's energy, other people's needs, other people's expectations of the reality or the world and illusion that you want to create. This is a very artistic expression. You could have a lot of artistic, creative ideas of building worlds from nothing, and this is what makes good filmmakers, photographers. You understand an image before it's come into creation. this could be very fun for you. You could enjoy make-believe. You could enjoy storytelling. But the dichotomy is that Leo really likes to be seen, and Pisces can dissolve that energy. So if you have Leo in the 12th house or a Pisces sun, there can be a dissolving of the ego, a dissolving of a need to be out in the world and seen for your creative expression. Yet, Pisces is one of the most creative energies in the zodiac. So it is a gift that is meant to lean into, and tapping into the Leo part of your chart where you want to be seen for who you really are could be part of the nuance of work that you're doing throughout your life. Because there is a desire to not be seen or to dissolve the ego, there can be a strong leaning into dissociative substances or spiritual bypassing or dissociation through rest and retreat and somehow escapism, being separate from the world. So it could be a real challenge to tap into that Leo energy of showing up, being yourself, not fearing what other people don't understand or not fearing the energy leaks that could happen. The energy merging and melding can be exhausting for Pisces. So you might need more retreat and rest for self. And that's absolutely what the doctor ordered. Since you've had Saturn and Neptune in your sign, though, most Pisces strong archetypal people have gone through a reconfiguration of figuring out how to be out in the world, how to have an ego and an identity and a solar light that shines and a protective boundary. It was almost through emphasizing the Neptunian Pisces archetype, because Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. There is a strong disconnect from self at times. And it's the ongoing work to reconnect with that solar fire, that expansion of your soul that wants to come through the Pisces archetype. Being seen might come with a safer structure now that Neptune has amplified the qualities of Pisces throughout this journey. And then Saturn came along for the last 3 years saying, okay, well, now that we have Neptunified this archetype, now that Neptune has gone through an even bigger burst of Pisces energy and expanding into the wide open energetic realm of the universe, how do you put that into a functional container because you are a being on Earth? And so most Pisces have dialed that in, and now it's time to play around with that authentic Leo-Pisces connection. Who is self within the Pisces archetype? How do you create and enjoy being seen for those creations without needing to go into a protective, dissociative space? How do you go into this meditative, creative influence zone and get all of this creative flow going that feeds your soul and put it into something functional? Something that can make you very proud to be a Pisces. That's the Leo quality, is pride and courage to show the world something that they can't see. That's the Pisces energy. It's the unseen realms. As much as it is spirituality, it's also gaseous substances and the vastness of the ocean that we don't fully see the whole world that exists under there. That's what a Pisces is bringing to light. And it is no easy feat to have these two archetypes merged and to try to find a sense of authentic self in that it can be seen and shared. It's another one of the dichotomies where Pisces is invisible. It's unseen. And I have heard some Pisces say that they feel that way. So how do we lean into that quality and be in this self-assured expression where we can let your fun and talents shine through? An area where you want to watch going with the flow too much. This is a practice of stepping up for what really matters to you. And sometimes that means not going with the flow, because Pisces naturally can do that. There's a passivity in this feminine yin energy that is trusting, unconditional loving, goes with the flow of everything around. And that can be where the self gets cloudy and dissolved and lost in that mix. I see this as leaning into the creative meditative process, Pisces, but in whatever areas feel right to you, somehow letting the world see that, or at least in whatever ways you want to step forward, know that this is the authentic self. Even if people don't get it, many will feel it, many will understand and pick up in ways that you don't necessarily know. So trusting, which is what Pisces do best, that you can shine these Pisces qualities in whatever way feels good for you. And it doesn't matter if other people get it or not. And you now have this protective strength around you for the delivery as well. But Pisces, I would love to hear how you feel about this. What's authentic to you? Do you feel clarity on your authenticity? Do you feel like you can step into a nuance of self, even though you're so connected to all this energy around you? How do you separate self when there is no separation in existence? Only a Pisces can help me understand that. So thank you for sharing in the comments and having this video come alive through those chats. And for meeting you on one-on-one Zoom calls, it's so much fun to put faces to all of this. So my booking link is in the description below. Have a wonderful journey of authenticity, Pisces, and I will see you next time.